Well, hello and welcome once again to the DCL podcast, where we're inviting you to sit back, relax, and we'll be on our way shortly. Well, welcome back, DCL Patreon and DCL podcast fans. We are live doing our July, even though it says January in the top of my cheat sheet, my napkin there, Christy and Lake. This is really our July Cabana show. And joining me today, Christy down in Florida. How are you doing today?
Hello. I'm a little tired. You had
a big weekend.
I had a big staycation-y weekend with some family and literally go. It's like, I don't know.
I forgot my hat.
Back being a tourist.
Who else has got hats? I got to put my hat on too. Yeah, I met Christy's cousin the first time I met you, right?
Yep.
And you need to turn it up. You need to go to 11 when you hang out with her. So I can imagine what the weekend was like.
Yeah, so we got to do a 2-night stay at the Four Seasons. That hotel is the best in Orlando and one of my favorite hotels actually in the entire world, at least that I've stayed in. There's obviously amazing hotels out there, right? But this is one of my favorites that I've ever stayed. The service is impeccable. They literally are just like the most polite people on the planet for every comment, everything. It's just a lovely place to be. Also, they have an adults-only pool that's like the quiet pool. And it really is mostly just quiet. And that's lovely. It's just, it's a happy place.
So let's talk about it just real quick. So if you stay at the Four Seasons, which is over by Golden Oak.
It's in Golden Oak.
It's in Golden Oak. So do you get the same perks if you stay on property?
No, this is where it used to. So it used to be considered like a deluxe property. And then like 2 years or so after it opened, it seemed to have lost those perks. And so, no. And They used to be able to drop you off at the Magic Kingdom bus parking. And now you have to get dropped off at the Ticket and Transportation Center. That was one of the big ones. But you can take a minivan from that property. And so a lot of people have, they might not mind paying. We did notice like a minivan would be like $35 to Disney Springs, for example, from that location. And actual lift was like 11. But if you're with your family and you're already staying at the Four Seasons, you could probably flip the $20 extra. And then for Magic Kingdom, at least get dropped off right at the front of the park.
Well, if you're staying at the Four Seasons, probably $20 to get you the Magic Kingdom is probably not going to break your budget, right?
Right. I mean, it just really is a lovely location. Amazing service. They have a huge lazy river. That's super fun. They have a kids program. So during the day, there's included childcare from like 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. or something like that. And so you can drop off your like 4 to 12-year-old. We have to look up the ages, but it's something similar to that. Blake came for a little bit and we did the lazy river and he did some of the kid activities. They did this like scavenger hunt when we checked in for the kids. That was super fun. So it's a really nice, lovely, lovely property.
Okay, awesome. And joining us, go ahead.
I know, I'm sorry. At the top of the Four Seasons is Kappa, which is a Michelin-starred restaurant.
Oh.
It's kind of a big deal.
Did you eat there?
No, not this time. There was no dressing up or looking fancy.
It was all pool time for the two of you and just relaxing. Yes. I love it. Yep. Okay. And joining us also down in Florida, you've been hearing his voice a lot lately on our podcast, is Lake. How you doing today, Lake?
Doing pretty good. As always, excited to be here. Excited to chat with everyone and talk some DCL.
And we'd like to we haven't really announced this, but Lake is actually like official part of, not that he wasn't ever kind of an official part of the team, but he is now one of our official co-hosts. He'll be helping me behind the scenes with some editing and stuff. And I really appreciate that. So you're going to be seeing a lot more of and hearing a lot more from Lake as well. So thanks for joining the team, Lake.
Absolutely. Ecstatic to be here.
And of course, you'll still be doing your Mouse Gen vlogs and a lot of good videos up there, especially with your latest Alaska cruise. So you've got all those up, right?
Yeah, we've got some more content, like, ship tour. And I think I'm actually going to put it all together into like a feature as well.
Oh, nice.
But like all the daily vlogs and stuff are all up from that. They're pretty fun, actually.
Yeah, I've loved all the videos so far. Watching, the kind of experiences that you had. A lot of people joining us today, which I'm excited about. Bradley, Dennis, hello. Tim's watching. Liz down in California, she's liking our hats. Put your hat on too, Liz. Aloha to Chris. Thanks for joining us as well. And Dennis says, "Yay, Lake! Thanks for being part of the team." And obviously, I can't talk today. Being missed today is Nova, and she and her family are on their way to the East Coast, hopefully getting to Europe. So they found out their Southwest flight was canceled today in Denver. So send some good vibes out to the Travelverse for her and her family to get over to the East Coast and hopefully to Europe, where they are going to be cruising with, is it Celebrity, Christy, or is it Royal? I can't remember.
Celebrity.
So looking forward to hearing her experience as well. Doug's joining us as well. Diane says yay. And Amy's joining us as well, too. Lots of people joining us. I love this. All right. So we're going to talk about a whole bunch of different things today, a little bit of rumors, speculation, things that have come out, and touch on some actual topics. We wanted to do some tips and tricks, I think, Christy, for first-time cruisers, but we're going to make that into just a show by itself.
Sorry, yes, we are going to do that another day because our Cabana show was much longer than we thought. And also, I was much busier and crazier and wasn't able to put down those tips for us.
Well, no problems with that. It's hello, Robert. Thanks for joining us as well. Okay, with that being said, we got a lot of rumors to talk about in this week's show, or this month's show. And one of them that's been hot and heavy on the latest clickbait sites and other different sites out there on the internet, social media, and everything else is the Haunted Mansion. And I think we were talking about it when it first came out because, Lake, you did a good job of like looking at the different characters that they put out in that initial promo with the treasure. Why don't you kick us off with the Haunted Mansion?
Yeah, so this seems to be the one here that has, I'm going to say, maybe the most feasibility or the most grounded reasoning. But where it's looking like right now, the Star Wars Lounge, Hyperspace Lounge, is going to be reimagined with a Haunted Mansion theme, which I think a lot of people are really excited about. I know between that, we were looking for something like either Haunted Mansion-y or like Adventureland kind of Trader Sam's-esque, something with that kind of higher theme, higher interactivity. And I think the Haunted Mansion definitely lends itself to that pretty well. But yeah, I mean, taking over Hyperspace Lounge, kind of a nice dark space already. Let's be honest, no windows in there, no doors, only one way out.
No pun intended.
It all fits the theme, right?
I like the way you fit that in there.
But yeah, that's really all we have about that is rumors. Other than that, it would be a pretty cool area for Halloween on the High Seas as well.
Yeah, I think Halloween on the High Seas, like doing some kind of family stuff during the day and then having some adult themed activities at night for the Halloween on the High Seas sailings, that would be an amazing space.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't see I think Hyperspace was a little bit disappointing for a lot of people. I just don't think it quite hit the mark thematically or immersively that they were looking for. And I think they can do hopefully better with the Haunted Mansion theme.
Hyperspace, like, the door, the sounds and stuff were great, but it was so echoey and it was so closed off that it's not like a place to me that, and obviously Star Wars, right? This is not my genre, but it's not a place to me that I would think to just go and hang out and try to get a drink and stuff like that, right? And so to me, that's a tough lobby bar. It's just, go on.
I think it'd be a tough lobby bar just maybe for the kids in some ways. I don't know.
I think too.
Am I overthinking that part?
It's also was, at the time that it came out, it was the second Star Wars bar, but for a while it was one of 3 Star Wars themed bars and was quite frankly the lowest tier of them all. So you have Oga's Cantina, which is like definitely loud and noisy, but it's got some cool theming. It's got, its own essentially radio track going on. You have DJ Rex, your own animatronic in there. And then, of course, you had the one on Galactic Star Cruiser, which people raved about the drinks and theming in that one as well, saying, if you were going to do upscale, that's kind of what they were expecting more of hyperspace to be like.
Yeah. Dennis says, I'll miss Hyperspace Lounge. And we're killing him, by the way, because
Star Wars is like his favorite thing.
I love the Hyperspace Lounge, to be completely honest. And a lot of people really do enjoy going over there, having the drinks and stuff like that. I know it doesn't fit everybody's bucket, but I really enjoyed our time in there. And I know Dennis and Chad from the show many times enjoyed it as well. Christy?
That's the thing. We went one time.
Well, it's a 3-day cruise. You can only do so many things. So, like, as you go back,
it was a 4-day cruise, but but still.
I mean, I've been back since.
Yeah.
I think. No offense, but I think it's just a personality thing. Whether
for sure. I also found it difficult to look at the menu even to pick a drink. Like, let me just pick a drink somehow.
Well, it's not going to be any easier if they have if you have some odd drinks in the Haunted Mansion type bar too. I think this is a good question. Okay, throw that to I'm going to throw this one to you. Like, what do you think about this? Chris asks, do you think the Haunted Mansion bar takes its cue from a scene in the attraction or blends a lot of them together?
See, that's an interesting question. I picture it being a little bit more, I want to say claustrophobic, but that's not necessarily what I'm going for. Maybe a little bit more full. If you like, I would love it to be almost more like the attic scenes where you're going through and there's just like all sorts of stuff around you. Of course, going off that Haunted Mansion theme, it's probably going to be like dusty, cobwebby, just lots of like different cues and things from the attractions. And of course, we'll probably see some tie-ins from the movies and from some of the other different haunted manors or attractions that we have around the world.
Yeah, Dennis asked what would be in the screen or maybe the mirror behind the bar if they have that. I've heard people speculate that the hitchhiking ghosts could be there, so maybe they're sitting in between you and me, Christy, as we're enjoying our drinks at the Haunted Mansion bar. You would love that, I know. Nope. What is the $5,000 drink going to come with? Ooh, I don't know. Maybe getting to spend the night in the actual Haunted Mansion or something like that, instead of the Cinderella suite. Yeah, Sarah says Muppets Haunted Mansion, please. That could be fun too.
That would be fun.
And would it be fun on we're totally pie in the sky here, on the Christmas sailings if they did the Jack Skellington Halloween makeover as well. So, this is going all over the place. Diane says Hitchhiking Ghost. I hope it's the Murderous Bride. But I think they could do a lot of fun things with it. We'll see what happens, whether this actually comes to fruition or not. It seems like it's going to, because like so many people are talking about it right now. But they could have a lot of fun with the drinks. I think the smoked old fashioned that Amy's husband got while she was on the Wish, and Steve, who's on the Magic right now, he sent me a video of that. That could be a fun thing to come in a box, something smoking, and then you get to open it up and find something. So a lot of really fun things there. All right. Have we talked? Christy's like just done. So
you know what? That's fine. You guys can talk about it as long as you want. I'll just sit here and try to smile.
Well, we move on to some merch here then.
Okay.
Christy, you want to take us away with all of the exciting things you can do with Magic Band plus minus plus?
So Magic Band Plus is coming to Disney Cruise Line it's not Magic Band, it's Disney Band Plus. I'm going to say it wrong every time. So it is coming to Disney Cruise Line. It's already on the Wish. You can order your bands like 45 days before your cruise. I thought you guys were going to keep talking about this. I didn't pull up my notes yet. Right now, there are 2 Disney Cruise Line specific bands, and the rest of the bands they show you are like the ones you can get at Walt Disney World. It's the same, or Disneyland. It's the same bands that you can use at Walt Disney World and at Disneyland. And if you already have a Magic Band Plus, so the newer version of it, and the ones that have to be charged every night or whatever, then they're already on your DCL account. So we've talked about that once. You could log in and see them. It's really easier to do it on your computer, but you can get to it from your like Safari app on your phone. You just can't use the Disney Cruise Line app to order it. It's 45. You can order them between 11 and 45 days before your cruise. You'll be able to use it. They'll scan it when you board the ship. So you know how we have the paper, you have to have the QR code. They'll actually just scan your band to get on there. Access your stateroom, charge specialty food items and merchandise. And I believe it's been discussed that the kids would be able to use them to get themselves in and out of the kids club. Now, Diane, our listener, pointed out, because somebody else brought it up too, that the bands appear to fall off easier, the Disney Cruise Line bands, versus the regular Magic Band Plus at the parks. So actually, some people were going to the kids clubs and getting that fastener to like lock it in. So that might be something you want to consider depending on how you intend to use it. But people, apparently they're coming off a little bit quicker. So there is a Disney Wish specific band. So if you're cruising the Wish, there are 3 bands you can choose from versus that are DCL specific. And then we don't know if they'll start coming out with other bands. The Disney Fantasy will start using the bands on her sailings as of this Saturday. So if you have one, you can report back how it worked. But we do know Diane's family used theirs on their back-to-back sailing that they just had. And like I said, they said the band fell off. But we bought some, the band with the Captain Mickey and Captain Minnie with like the ship and the Star Wars. It just looked so cute. And then Dave could have just not had a band, but he's like, oh, that gray one's nice. You know, so, and he can use it at Walt Disney World too. So
2 things. One thing I heard on Wes's show and the DCL dude was that you still need the Key to the World card to be able to go onto and off the ship.
Sure.
So the Magic Band won't replace that. So you'll still need to have your Key to the World card, I guess, for that.
Well, because that's the ID too.
Right.
So they need to like have your name and the sail date information, because that's the security measure that they use to have you enter the ship.
Couple comments here. Dennis says, go back to the Haunted Mansion. I want the voice of the mansion to greet you when you open the door. Welcome, foolish mortals. I like that. And it's got a squeak. It's got a squeak too, right? Diane says, by the way, turns out you can get the smoked old fashioned with vodka, which I did not know, but I am here for. So you can switch that up. Also, Diane says, the Magic Bands are still totally worth it. It made it so much easier. It does light up really bright at night when you charge it, though. So maybe put it in the bathroom.
Interesting.
Let's see. Lindsay says, when we were at Disneyland Paris this summer, we missed the Magic Band so much. I'm sure they will become a must-have. So any thoughts on the Magic Bands? Like, do you have the Disney Plus Magic Bands?
No, because I have so many Magic Band 2s that I don't need Magic Band pluses. And second of all, this whole retrofitting them to be on the ships should have been done like a decade ago. Like, why is Disneyland and the cruise line just getting on this?
I don't know.
Just saying.
Good point there. I mean, they've had the doors set up for it. I mean, electronically that they could have done it. So just, yeah, I don't know. Christy, there is one other point. I guess you can save money if you order it ahead of time, right? Like $10 or something. Oh
yeah, $10.
$10, and you do that after you check in or something, or 30 days prior.
You just have to be paid in full, and for DCL's purposes, you could do it between 11 and 45 days before your cruise. And you do it on the website, not on the app.
Gotcha. I love the app. Why is it not on the app? It's so confusing.
Because Disney can't make their technology work to do something like that.
We don't have the Disney Plus ones yet either, so we'll probably Disney Bandit see.
We have one set, and I had bought them to go to Disneyland, and then it turned out that we could never get it linked, and our Disneyland days were so crazy that we didn't ever have time. Like, we didn't think we would do as much as we did, but we never had time to go to guest services to say, why won't this like number, because you had to like manually enter something, it wouldn't work. So but it would have been convenient. I mean, I do like using it at Walt Disney World. It's kind of cute when you check in and it vibrates and does like, little things like that. For my son, of course, it's like a better experience for him. And so, like, if at Walt Disney World they're doing the castle show with some fireworks and stuff, your band will actually vibrate and do things like that. So, like, they've incorporated the use of the band throughout the park, or at least in some aspects of the park, and that's fun for kids and sometimes adults.
I like that. Are either one of you guys Swifties?
I mean, yeah, I've seen her in concert twice. I couldn't go this year, but I wouldn't call myself a Swiftie either, but I'm an, OG listener.
So this is like totally off base, but like when I was in Cincinnati, I could see across the river and you could see it. You could hear the whole concert. I sit in less different hour and there's like all these lights going off and I was trying to figure out what it was. And I was thinking it was like people's like phones or something like that. Well, no, it turns out that they have these bands that they wear that light up, and then she makes them for each concert, and then they trade them and everything like that. So
stop it.
Yeah. So there's like a whole trading thing going on. Like this, it's funny, like all these little niche cultures that, yeah. I mean, we're in a niche culture, right? Disney Cruise Line talking about this. So, yeah, I got a kick out of that. That's kind of cool.
Look at this comment.
What's that?
That came through. There are fun surprises with the band on the cruise.
Ooh.
But she won't spoil the fun. She won't spoil it, but it's very fun and cute.
I like that one.
That's Diane.
Sarah asks, are there enough outlets? You could have 4 to 5 bands needing to charge at the same time. I will say that the unfortunately, the Fantasy and the Dream, when they go through their dry docks, hopefully they're going to add some more outlets like the Magic and the Wonder and the Wish have, but maybe bring...
The Wish has plenty of outlets.
The Wish has plenty.
Like a million that you can... There's a lot of UBC options, and then there's even a UBC.
There's a bunch of USBs, and
that's
then there was a set of USB-Cs as well.
Yeah, that's why I like here. He's younger than 100 like you and I, Christy. So
I know, and he knows the words.
Do you have something you'd recommend, like as far as if somebody wanted to get like some kind of power strip, or what am I looking for?
So remember, you cannot use anything with a surge protector on a cruise.
So we use pretty much all of my charging stuff is by a company called Anchor. It goes on sale like all the time for Black Friday and stuff on Amazon. But I have one that it's just a little block that plugs in, and then it's basically one power outlet to 4 USBs. And that's always been plenty for us, plus whatever's already on the ship. But that's pretty much what we've brought with us on every cruise. And like I said, that's been plenty for us.
Perfect. Okay, well, let's move on from Disney Bands at Sea. See, I can't even say it. Did I say that right?
Disney Band Plus, I think.
Disney Band
Plus.
Plus.
We were also going to read a review this week. So we do not think that we've read this before, but from Cruiser Jeff, he said 5-star review on Apple Podcast. This is one of the more insightful podcasts on DCL. I've been on several DCL cruises, but I always learned something from this podcast. Great host, great guest, great podcast. So thank you, Jeff. And if you have not left us a review yet, would you please consider doing so wherever you listen to podcasts, but especially on Apple, because that helps our show get found in the podcasting community.
And yeah, Apple Podcasts, unfortunately, is still the gorilla in the room as far as where most people, if you don't necessarily listen to it through Apple Podcasts, it's probably coming through Apple Podcasts. So to your podcast catcher. So we're going to turn to this next one. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I think it's important to let people know if you're sailing on the Australia cruises or thinking about it. I know one of our Patreons is doing that. He made a post about it. So I looked at it just real briefly. Scott Sanders over the Disney Cruise Line blog has some information on it, but basically go to know before you sail, know before you go on the Disney Cruise Line site to find out. But even though the pandemic protocols have ended here, they have not necessarily ended in Australia. So Disney Cruise Line recently emailed guests on the upcoming Australian cruises to remind them of Australian cruising protocols. And from what I could take from this is that these apply to cruising and not necessarily to enter the country. So there may be some differences to entering the country versus cruising, but these are just cruising protocols that they require right now. So basic requirements are, but please check the Disney Cruise Line website, know before you go section. All passengers 12 years of age and older must be fully vaccinated to board a cruise ship. See the website for definition of fully vaccinated. All passengers 2 years of age and older must take a PCR test within 48 hours before boarding.
PCR.
Or a self-administered rapid antigen test within 24 hours before boarding. So once again, go to the website to find out how that is going to be accomplished. But just know that guests under 2 years of age do not require testing. There's a possibility these requirements can change before sailings. Once again, visit the Know Before You Go section of the DCL website for all the info. And from Tim, we did hear that DCL has been providing refunds for people who booked these sailings before the information was released and they no longer feel comfortable going. However, this is no guarantee that that will happen to you. So that's what they're doing right now, it sounds like, but there's no guarantee for that in the future. Make sure you contact Disney Cruise Line, I guess, for further guidance and information if you have any questions about sailing on the Australia cruises. And today, we just, other than Tim, who is going, we just had a gentleman from Australia reach out to us, excited to bring him on and to have somebody from Australia going on his first Disney cruise, talking about cruising with Disney at Australia. That's going to be a fun show to do. So we can go into more speculation, but do you want to do more speculation with the Global One, or should we talk about the Palo price increases? Christy, what do you think?
We have to start with number 6. We got to keep things in order.
Oh, sorry. Blake, you want to take number 6?
Yeah, so news out of Meyer Werft, the Carnival Jubilee was floated out on July 21st, which makes room for the Disney Treasure to float in its engine room, and we can start to put the Lego pieces together. And if you've never seen it, really is like building Legos. They kind of just plop all these squares onto each other, and then a ship rolls out a couple months later. But that really heavily kicks off the construction process. This is really where we're going to see a ship coming together now. We've seen kind of all these different pieces kind of getting shipped up there and waiting, and now it's time to put it all together.
I will say that it's been super fun sort of reading the Patreon posts. So our Patreon community, we have a little Facebook group, and it's so fun to just to have everybody commenting and talking and making it more of a two-way street between us and our podcast listeners. But so if you had any interest, that group is so fun, especially with stuff like this, because there are people that are scouring for every little piece of information and so quick to post. It's really fun.
Yeah, I see something, I got to post it, and somebody's already posted it.
Yeah, you did actually post something somebody had already posted while you were on a flight or something this week.
I try not to. I try to catch it. M's Dollart Media, EMS, Dollart, DOLLART Media on YouTube. They have a lot of videos of the treasure and the different ship builds, so you can follow them if you want to be the first to see it as far as they float things in. Unfortunately, I think they're going to turn the camera off again in the Grand Hall where they're building the treasure, but follow along with the Disney Cruise Line at the Disney Cruise Line Parks blog, and we'll try and post stuff as soon as we can when we see stuff as it comes up.
It's not like the edge of the ship is a surprise.
Right.
Right. We know what it's going to look like. The Wish.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe it'll have instant. No, I'm not going to go there. Okay. I'll take this next one, and then you can talk about Palo. How's that, Christy?
Yep.
All right. So this one's a little bit of speculation. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this too, but it has now been confirmed by Northern German newspaper NDR. The Disney Cruise Line has continued to work on the Global One cruise ship, which we've had podcasts in the past. It's the old Global Dream, which I think was Global Dream, but Global something that Disney bought and is going to turn it into one of the largest cruise ships in the world. It is supposed to set sail in 2025 out of Singapore, but because they are a little bit behind, and I'm not sure exactly why, it is now projected to be completed in 2026. And Disney Cruise Line has already announced that it has an agreement to start sailing out of the port of Singapore in 2025, which leads me to this speculation. I'm just curious what you guys think. The Disney Wonder's last projected sail date is an arrival in Vancouver from Honolulu in February of 2025. I am personally hoping that she turns right and comes south down to San Diego and continues sailing down to Mexico. And I don't know the contract if they have to sail in 2025 with Disney Cruise Line. But what do you think? Like, do you think they could send the Wonder over to Singapore to do the sailings in 2025 before the global one, whatever that's going to be named, is built?
I don't think so, because so many of the ships that are built to sail over in that East Asia market are built specifically for that. You know, we see them come out of these shipyards, they sail over that way, and then we never hear about them again. They go and they sail those markets pretty much exclusively. If they find their way back here, they end up needing massive retrofitting to be able to, you know, basically turn a profit in our market. So they're certainly not going to put that much effort into the Wonder, especially after they've, you know, just done all these different changes over the past couple of years with it. I don't think they're going to be willing to make those changes or risk not making those changes and have it essentially be a flop over there.
Christy, any thoughts? None whatsoever.
My only thought on it is I wonder if Disney for a short season will ride on its Disney fandom to bring an existing ship over there. To get people on to, because while a Disney ship isn't entirely set for the Asian market, it will get a lot of people, unless they do one of those like Australia at sea type sailings where they're just doing 2 days to nowhere, right? Or even 6 days to one port, basically to nowhere. So, but getting people from here to fly out there to go on a Disney ship, and one that they already are comfortable with, and then putting some of the locals on it. I think some of the keys would be, though, you know, the employees and language and certain things like that.
Definitely food too, as far as, you know, being able to meet the tastes of what they expect to have on board.
But their crew, I presume, I mean, they're already making that food, I would presume, for the crew from that area. And so I think that makes a difference.
Good
and
point,
then have we talked about this on a show yet? That on my Alaskan sailing, there were several different people that had pointed out that it's like the Australian crew are mostly from their Canadian crew. Like everybody already has their contracts and know who's going out that way. And it was like very few countries. Basically, it's not always going to be the case, right? But they're trying to fill the ship with as many people from these different locations for either immigration purposes or who knows what. But I don't know. Maybe that's all related, because they could do the same then for setting a ship over there.
Good points. But I think to your point, like, definitely for the long term, they definitely need to retrofit it to really meet the demands of who's going to be sailing over there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm selfish. I want her to come back down to San Diego because it makes me sad that we don't have a ship out here on the West Coast. And I'll leave it at that. February.
One more question. How are those sailings doing that were on the West Coast? Like, they never got sales.
They're full. Like our one in October, I pulled it up. I mean, yeah, I think there's like, you know, there's still some cabins available, but for the most part, I think they really filled them up. And to be fair, we were texting with somebody else today. I mean, like, this is a whole nother topic, but Disney World's a little bit down. Hawaii is double digits down this summer as far as people going there, but cruise ships are full. I mean, there's no Florida residency rates, right, guys? You guys would know that.
None.
I mean, the only ones that they're giving right now, I see some military, and they're all generally out of New York. So the New York ones, for whatever reason, are not filling up out of New York down to the Bahamas, and they're not even going to run them in 2025 now. It seems like so.
Right.
Yeah. But I think cruise. You know, people are just cruising right now. So everybody went to Disney World. Everybody went to Hawaii. Now they're cruising, going to Europe. I don't know. It's kind of like the herds kind of following each other. So they've been full, but that's a whole nother topic. So lots of changes maybe coming in 2025. We'll have to wait and see. Lindsay says, I thought I read it had something to do with the bankruptcy proceedings. Could be.
That's in terms of the global dream.
Yeah, why it was delayed for the construction. Liz says, yeah, go ahead.
The secret's out. Cruises are better than the parks. I mean, cruises are just our favorite way to travel personally for my family.
Love the parks.
So good.
Yeah. All right. Christy, Palo. It's getting more expensive.
It's getting more expensive. Now Steve is never going to brunch. So Disney Cruise Line quietly raised their prices at their adult-only restaurants on board. My understanding is if you are already booked, then they are honoring the price that you were booked at before the price was increased. But Palo will now cost diners $50 for the prefix menu, which is a $5 increase. And then Enchant. That's not spelled right, and now I can't say it.
Enchante.
Enchante.
Okay, you're right. I got the H before the C. Sorry about that.
I am tired and confused now. And Remy had a $10 increase, so it is now $130 for each diner. Thoughts, guys?
Yeah, $5 and $10.
It's not that big a deal.
No.
But I was trying to think about Palo brunch because, and I guess I think dinner is worth it. This comment I'll read in a second. But I think we have done birthday dinners at the Capitol Grill before. And, it's an expensive night out. It's lovely. It's really good dinner, right? And so is Palo for dinner. I don't know if brunch rises to that same level. Is my Eggs Benedict better than in the main dining room? I don't think it is anymore. I don't know if it ever was, but when the price was closer and it was $25 to go, it didn't matter. $30, fine. Now I do have a Palo brunch coming up, and I'm making Dave go with me, just because we want for our wish cruises that we have coming up to do the dinners. I think I'm skipping Marvel, but the boys will go to it because my son loves it. But my Palo is included except for the tip or whatever, as a platinum cruiser. That's one of the gifts. That's one of your Castaway Club gifts. So it's worth it for included, but is it worth it to pay out of pocket?
What do you think?
Well, on the Wish, I think dinner is superior to the brunch for sure, because you just get a whole expanded steakhouse menu. You get all these extra sides and stuff. I would argue that the brunch is still worth it. Katie and I have had plenty of really great brunches. I think there's still a lot on that menu that I would like to explore. I still, to this day, think I've had the best waffle of my life at Palo Brunch. Just because I was like, I've never tried the waffle. Let's try it. And it was genuinely fan-flippin-tastic.
Yeah.
So
they have to do something with that steak, though, at brunch. It's the thinnest sirloin or something that they can't even cook to anything under medium well because it's too thin. And I don't know how they are comfortable serving that to people still. They won't even get it anymore.
Diane says it's worth it for brunch at Palo, but not dinner, in her humble opinion.
Oh, so she thinks the opposite. But okay, so now we have to. Who made this, Liz?
Yeah, did I cut you off? Or you had a point there? Sorry.
No, you're good.
Chris,
Liz's comment though was,
is
it still a better value than Subway? And this all started because 100 years ago, Steve was talking about how Subway was $40 or something, and then Palo was $40, and somehow that whole story there's a whole thing there. So, and then Amber also was I actually prefer Subway. to Paulo. So go check out, if you have Instagram, our stories, little circles at the top. There's one that's called Subway, and you can actually hear one of the audios, like cuts that Nova puts out with her expressions of what's being said. That's gold. So, and then there's like a whole bunch of comments, and every time there's Paulo in another country, we always post pictures, or not Paulo, but Subway. So anyway.
Chris says, agree on the Palo brunch thing. Why don't other cruise lines like Royal, NCL, et cetera, do these special pay-up brunch experiences versus just offering their normal lunch at that specialty restaurant? I think Disney does it because it's such a small group of people to cater for. And Diane says, but the Gorgonzola great pizza, Christy.
I have heard that's good. Isn't that not even on the menu anymore? You have to secret menu item it.
So I'm going to say that I think it's still worth it. I mean, compared to,
still worth it.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just talking about brunch. I'm just talking about Palo.
The meal you've never been to?
The meal I never
Will you go?
Someday I will. Now it's just my shtick. I just have to. It's
$70.
just my shtick, right?
We will all get on together and drag him.
There will be no scuba diving this time.
Yeah. I still think it's worth it. I mean, when you look at like what they're charging for like some of the drink tasting, $60 to go do champagne tasting versus $50, you can get a whole meal out of it. I mean, the food's good. The ambiance is great. If you want to have, I was thinking about it, and this, I don't want to go on this huge segue, but there was a young couple when Anawik and I were up there on the last cruise when we were over in Greece, and their kids were down in the kids club, and they were having just a great time enjoying dinner. And when you're in those moments with kids like that, sometimes, those moments are like few and far between. And to be able to have just a really nice dinner in the ambiance of Palo, I think it's still worth it. So I'm still gonna give it a thumbs up. As far as, is it more expensive? Yes, but it's not as expensive as some of the other stuff that they're charging on, and it's still a great experience. So. With all that food talk, we better get back in shape. So I'm going to throw this one to you. Like, what's new with Run Disney? Lots of stuff coming up. There's a holiday virtual event I didn't even know about.
Yeah, so they decided to do the 12 Ks of, 12 Ks of Christmas as a summer halfway to Christmas type of thing. So that's actually ongoing right now. But it was 4Ks, which is also a super weird distance. I don't know who landed on that. It was like, yeah, people love 4Ks. Like, okay, thank you. But yeah, so that's the thing. It's virtual. I've pretty much taken a stand against virtual races. So I know you get some cool stuff with it. You get like ornaments, you get your shirts and everything with it. Like everything you get with it seems to be pretty cool. But it's a thing. It's there. Other than that, we don't really have a whole lot new Run Disney-wise. We do know the theme for Springtime Surprise Challenge is Stitch, and then they teased all of the other themes, and I think the community's pretty much put it together. We just don't know what race is which, but it's going to be Lion King, Peter Pan, and Up. About 90% sure on that. Like I said, we just don't know which race is which. Of course, we've seen medals for Wine and Dine weekend. They all look pretty cool. Pretty excited about that Figment medal and the Encanto medal. Does it?
Right? That's what somebody was saying at the bottom of the Figment medal, that it lights up. So
I missed that, but that would be a first, and I'm pretty hype on that now.
Yeah. I think my training starts officially in 2 weeks. I bumped it up a week because I am going to be not training during one of the weeks, the week of my birthday.
That's okay.
Like maybe some baby
Just
runs.
Getting out there is what matters. And then, of course, what we are all extremely hyped for Run Disney, and I think in general, because this is going to be like kind of a huge meetup for all of us, is the Disneyland race in January. We're all going to be there. A whole lot of kind of our crew from the corral is going to be there. My whole family's going to be out there running. This is going to be a really fun weekend. I think we're all really looking forward to that. We haven't talked about it as DCL, but I know like my channel at least will be doing some sort of meetup, and I'm sure we're going to just kind of lump that into one big meetup because that's kind of what we do here. Yeah.
Chris, maybe you can help us come up with something. So if you're still listening, like what a good meetup location and maybe something like what that could look like at Disneyland that would make sense.
Do we know where it starts and stops, Lake?
Nothing official, but they used to start pretty much right outside on that road when you cross when you're staying at like Disneyland or Paradise Pier.
Okay.
It used to be like right off of that road.
Okay. So if worse comes to worse, and we'll try and like you said, 21 Royal sounds good to me.
I'm pretty sure that's the fancy place. I don't think that's happening.
That's Club 33, right? Am I wrong? Or am I out
I
to
think
lunch?
it's different.
That's different. Okay.
I don't know.
Anyways, if worse comes to worse, definitely at least follow along, and at the end of the race, we'll try and find a place where we can all meet up after the race. But watch for it as it gets closer for doing something ahead of time. And I want to throw this one out too, like, because I know that you and Steve kind of know it. Maybe Christy does as well, and I don't know it as well. But these races sell out pretty quickly. But sometimes there is a potential to get in the race after it's already sold. Is there a site that you'd recommend for people to follow along? Because sometimes spots do come back open.
Yes. So
While Lake is looking that up, I'm also going to say look into charity bibs. And so maybe Lake can talk about where one could go to get those too. So if you just agree to do a little bit of sponsoring, raising some money, you can get a bib that way too.
yeah, so I believe you can find it. If you go to most of the main pages, they share them on there, but I know Team Run Disney specifically. Go on there and search something like race openings, and someone's created essentially a bot. And there's a couple different ways you can follow that. They have a website for it. I actually really like, if you're familiar with Discord, which is kind of like a Teams type of thing. They have one on Discord, and just because I already used that, it's been super helpful, and it seems to actually work pretty well. I tend to get the notifications, I think, before some of the other ones do on that. But even, let's see, today actually, 12Ks of Christmas shows register now. But I can go through and see basically when every single race has reopened and then when it reclosed. So that's a great way. And then, of course, charities. If you go to any specific race and then you go, they have a list of the charities for that race. Going to, again, the Run Disney pages, though, and just saying, hey, I'm looking for a charity for this race, can sometimes yield you positive results. Some races that are going to sell out quickly, the charity spots will sometimes sell out very quickly, if not before they even start collecting bibs as well. And Steve, you have some experience using a charity right now. Do you want to go ahead and hit on that?
Yeah, well, it's the first time the first time I've done it, I guess. So, yeah, Steve Elsis and I are signed up to run in support of the American Cancer Society. Once you sign up with them, they send you a link to make sure you're doing it. You have to make an initial donation. It was pretty small. I can't remember what it was, like 10 or 15 bucks to get it kicked off. And then you need to have half of the minimum that society or that charity requires you to raise done halfway between the time you register and you run. So by the mid-August, I think you'd have to have $1,100 completely per person, and we needed to have about $600 raised by August otherwise, or contact them. I'm getting way too in the weeds in this, but that's the gist of it. Once again, I know a couple of you guys listeners out there have already supported us, but we're going to throw it up on the DCL podcast Facebook page, links to both mine and Steve Ellis's charity page. And if you feel so inclined to help support the American Cancer Society, we sure would appreciate it. So another way to get into the races.
You should definitely support them because my wife works for them, so you are also supporting her. Also, they do a lot of good.
Anything else about Run Disney then? Like anything that you've got up on your vlog lately?
Yeah, we did just do a live stream kind of talking about if you're getting ready to train for marathon weekend, your first marathon or your first dopey. We did a whole live stream kind of talking about where we're at on training, what we recommend, and kind of recapping some of our experiences from last year. And we'll probably look to do that more often on our channel. That was a live show too. I know some people here checked in and were chatting with us as well.
That's me. I was with some people. Yeah, it's a great YouTube channel. I love it when they do the Run Disney stuff, and I like how they're touching on a whole bunch of different topics. So definitely give them a listen.
Chris says sorry, I'm losing my voice.
Chris says it's the $15,000 dining experience in the Dream Suite where we can watch Fantasmic. And then I assume that's where you're going with that, Steve. And then Liz responded that she was thinking margaritas at, I don't know how to say this, Calica Mama's across the street, but she likes his thinking.
I think he was thinking that would be the place where we could meet up afterwards. So the $15,000 Dream Suite. Yes,
he was kidding.
I know.
I mean, we assume he was kidding. Chris, get us in there without $15,000 and then you're all invited.
All right. Nova's not here, so we're not going to talk about Disneyland, I guess. So nothing must be going on at Disneyland, kind of status quo. Nothing ever changes at Disneyland, right? Walt wanted it to be a museum, I think. That's what he said. Maybe not. I digress. All right. So, Christy, what's going...
Can't we reverse that whole sentence?
Christy, what's going on at Walt Disney World? Anything new? I heard it's empty there. Like, nobody's there.
So hot. That's the only thing that is going on, is that you literally just bake. So it's interesting. I think there was that article, and I'm going to let Lake talk about too what might be going on, because, Lake's a Disney local as well. But there was the article where Len Testa is quoted by the Wall Street Journal and about how the Disney parks are a little bit emptier. And then Iger gets on his interview with CBS or whatever, and it was like, it was hot. And oh my God, it was so hot on the 4th of July that, there were less people going to parks. And actually the Magic Kingdom was sold out that day. I couldn't get a park pass. And so I wouldn't say nobody's going, but there are some low ride return times, especially, and the weather has just been kind of garbage. Like, our storms that we get through, and then, or it feels like 105. So I guess it's just something to keep in mind. I do have, though, once that article came out, I've had 2 clients reach out that have planned now last minute trips in August. There's a bunch of room discounts. And so people are like, you know what, let's get in before their school goes back in session to get a trip. So it'll be the center of the earth hot, but you will hit some lower crowd times in late August.
Back to school is a sweet time to go back to Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead.
People think September and October are low crowds. And honestly, September used to be a lower crowd, but now it isn't anymore. There are like schools in Tennessee and stuff have a fall break. And so people will come out during those periods. And some people are just like, that's fine, I'm taking my kids out. Or they have littler kids. And October is just typically jammed with Food and Wine Festival and things like that. What were you going to say? Are you going to do staycation?
We're not doing a staycation, but we've been doing a lot more day trips to the parks, or like evening trips. I just went with my buddy Mark, what was that, last Wednesday, and we had a good time. The only thing I will note, though, we were going to go to Magic, and all of the wait times were like actually super long that day. It was like 45 minutes for Little Mermaid.
Oh my God.
Like, we'll pass. So we went to Animal Kingdom and had the absolute wildest time on the safari because they were still running it in a thunderstorm. We got soaked, but the animals were like straight up running around and stuff. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, your cheetah was doing a bunch of stuff, and I think like the lion was actually standing and doing stuff.
Like, everything was just like moving. Like, there was no just like chilling. Yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, we did that, and then we even hopped over to Epcot. We rode a couple rides there, and we had a good little evening of just park hopping.
That's fun. Follow Lake on Lake and Katie, but on their Mouse Gen channel on Instagram, because when he goes to the park, he posts stuff.
Yeah.
So anything new for you guys, Lake and Katie, as far as things you're doing different at Disney World? Anything that's come up differently, or anything you're looking forward to?
No, not too much. I mean, our next big like Disney World trip will be Wine and Dine. Really, that'll be the next time we're actually like on site staying for a period of time.
Okay. Well, any other topics, guys? Anything that we've missed, or anything else you guys want to talk about?
Let me just say really quick, we checked in last night. I mean, I don't do check-ins, but we checked in last night for our Wish Labor Day weekend cruise. And I'm pretty excited to get back on her again. You know, it's been since the previous Labor Day that I've cruised the Wish, and I definitely want to see how she is now. I just cannot wait to get pictures of all the pretty decorations. Let me know if there's anything you want me to cover, and I can try to cover that as well during the cruise. We are actually going one other little weekend in October, so we'll get that out there. I have lined up a couple of really cool guests that are doing the
DVC.
Yes, member cruise, the DVC member cruise. So they'll come on and tell us all about it. Those are just super fun to listen to. I definitely want to do one of those one year.
Check out that Hyperspace Lounge. It's pretty nice.
I'll go there again.
Good.
I really think the Wish, I think the Wish gets better with more sailings just because you really there's so much to do on it, but you can really narrow down what you actually want to do versus what you're doing because it's new and shiny.
Yeah. Yeah. And, my last time on her, we were in concierge, and honestly, we did very little of the Wish as a whole because we were in concierge. We were taking advantage of that amazing lounge and lounging in that lounge. Now we won't have that opportunity. At one point it did show up, and I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not spending the money. But I will now, I want to do a little bar crawl and check out just all the different spaces that I haven't been. I've never been in Nightingales. I think I walked in one time.
After our last cruise. Music every night. And people are down there jamming to the piano music.
It was... Yeah. I think it was tough to get in there. It was packed every time we walked by it seemed like. So,
which is why we never went in.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try it sometime.
Well,
and I'm going to do something. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, even the Bayou had some music as well. So, I mean, that's definitely become one of our favorite things to do. So, book a tasting at Nightingales to guarantee you get in, says Dennis.
Oh my God. We are never doing Match Your Mate. Oh, we are going to do Match Your Mate, though, on this podcast. That's going to happen. But I think it's for Patreons only. So join our Patreon if you want to see that.
Yeah, that's not going out to the general public. That's for sure.
That is definitely. I want to go. So we have to come up with where should I eat or what should I do when Blake and Dave go to the Marvel restaurant? Because maybe I get a taco bowl before they close or something, because I'm going to skip it. I'm excited about skipping a sit down dining restaurant and having my own little free time to do whatever I want.
We did a skip your dining day on our last Wish sailing, and I think we just ate 2 different dinners. We did a set up at the pool deck food, and we did something else. Oh, and then we did room service too.
Ah, there you go. Yeah, I can try room service on the Wish. I haven't tried that yet. So
Chris says Nova would like to share that San Francisco Square at DCA opens August 31st. So if anybody's heading down there,
that face character of Hero and Baymax together is awesome. Here for it.
Definitely. I need to go back and watch that movie. It's been so long. We only saw it once, and need to go back and watch it again.
I think that's one of the better recent ones for sure.
Yeah. Did you guys see Elemental? Anybody? I don't know.
Not yet.
Okay.
Did you?
No, I haven't seen it yet. The only thing we've really seen is Indiana Jones. Any thoughts on that? No thoughts. No.
I mean,
okay.
Clearly, I haven't seen Indiana Jones. If there was a movie I was going to go see, it would be Barbie movie. Let's be clear about that. And I just wait till I get on an airplane. This is when I watch movies. When I'm literally trapped in a chair.
I will be interested. I will be honest. I'm interested in Barbie, but I was hurt the fact that they were talking about Indiana Jones. The other people going to see Indiana Jones were people that were sentimental about seeing it in their youth, which I guess that was me. So
I like Indiana Jones. I just we don't go to the theaters for a lot of things anymore.
No, I get it. I mean, a lot of people aren't, so especially when it comes out so fast on Disney Plus or whatever else. Dennis says Indiana Jones is good, worth a trip to the theater. Okay, for those of you guys listening, not Chris. Chris answered this one. Any thoughts on the recent Universal cruise ship rumors? So there was a rumor, and we threw it out there, that Universal may be looking to get into the cruise industry, and at the same time, there's a rumor that they were looking at getting a private island where they may be putting a Jurassic Park type of experience on it. Like, what are your thoughts?
I swear
Like
I will
the dinosaurs
leave
gonna eat
my
us?
job to breed dinosaurs. Mark my words. The science is real. It is there. We can do it. And I'm here for it.
I think it would be amazing if Universal got into it. It would be interesting to see whether they were mass market or if they took, Disney's tack of being a little higher end product. Any thoughts there, Christy? What Universal would do?
I don't see them going to a premium product. I think they're going to be contemporary for sure.
Okay. Either way,
based upon nothing. So I base it upon even going to Universal.
Either way, I think it'd be amazing. Well, one, to have the competition, because it's anything that they do seems to push Disney a little bit. So I like that aspect of it. Plus, they got some really cool properties that they could have a lot of fun with, right? Like,
yeah, and I mean, as for theme park wise, like theming and new lands, they are winning the game for the most part. I mean, let's be honest. That's another park that we've been spending some more time in as well. I love Velocicoaster. We love Harry Potter. And we've just been having a good time. They just opened up like the whole Minions land as well. That was pretty cool. So there's definitely a lot they could do with it.
Is Universal closer to you or
further?
Further.
Yeah, it's like another 10, 15 minutes past Disney.
Blake is going to SeaWorld camp in a week. So that'll be interesting. I get to go to SeaWorld.
I've heard that's a lot of fun, actually.
Mm-hmm. Jet them off. And I think they give us there's something about tickets. I need to look into that, but something during that week that he can go back anytime. I mean, I think we would then have to pay for a ticket, but maybe we'll do that.
Yeah, but they're like, oh yeah, buy a ticket and you and your family and your relatives can come back for the next 10 years.
Right. Yeah. So we'll see.
Well, with that, I think that's going to wrap it up for this show. Thanks for everybody who joined us and listened as we were doing this live from our Patreons. And once again, thanks for all you guys' support over the years. And we really do appreciate each and every one of you taking the time to do that for us. And if you'd like to find out more about our Patreon program, you go to patreon.com/DCL podcast and find out all the information there. And I guess we'll just go around one more last time. Christy, any final thoughts?
No, thanks for listening.
Lake, any final thoughts?
Thanks for watching.
All right. That'll conclude our July Cabana show. I can't believe
I get Christmas in July, but now we're January and July.
We're moving on. We're on to the marathon weekend. So that'll conclude our July Cabana's episode. We'll be back in August to do that and hopefully bring you some exciting information with a live show after the revealing of that next ship, the Treasure. So once again, thanks for coming back and taking a listen, and we'll see you next time on the DCL podcast. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
The DCL podcast is not affiliated with the Disney Cruise Line, Walt Disney Company, Adventures by Disney, or Run Disney. All of the opinions expressed on our shows are those of the hosts and the guests who appear on the show. If you have any questions about any of these products, please contact the Walt Disney Company.